All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the third segment of today's show, we are going to go over the National League playoff picture, talk about the scores revolving around that from last night, and we'll look at the current standings for the moment. Also, quick thing, and I just saw a video. Well, I saw the video of it last night, but I just saw something that reminded me of it today. So did anybody watch Stephen A's first pitch at Yankee Stadium last night? I saw the video of it, but he bounced it. One bounce, and it went to I think Higashioka was the one that was catching him, but it was really bad. But to defend him, at least in this respect, there have been first pitches that were a lot worse than that. At least like with him, he skipped it, and it went straight into the catcher's mitt on the bounce. But yeah, that's you never want to do that. You never want to do that. Now I'm not saying, listen, I would love to throw out a first pitch at a game, but first of all, the nerves would just be all over the place. But I'm not gonna say I could have did better. I maybe could have, but yeah, if you wanna see what I'm talking about, make sure to just look up Stephen A. First pitch, Yankee Stadium, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to mention that because I just saw a video of him talking about it on First Take today. So yeah, but let's now get back into the baseball discussion on the National League side of things. So obviously, with the wild card, it's still all over the place. With the playoff picture, it really just is crazy. There's going to be a team that's going to get in and have maybe like 86 wins on the season, which is something you just don't want. And that's one of the reasons why some people aren't a fan of having these expanded playoffs. And again, same thing with the NFL is you're having a team that makes it that maybe shouldn't be in the playoffs, that doesn't deserve it. Unless they go on a miraculous run, then that's one thing. But, if they somehow make it out of the wild card round and they go up against the Braves and they get swept and they're blown out in every single game, it's like what is the point of this? Well, there is a reason for it, but it doesn't have to do with the teams themselves. It has to do with, more games in the playoffs where people do, attendance and attending and watching on TV. That's really what it comes down to. But so we're going to have a team that's going to finish, like I said, with maybe 86 wins that gets in. So, but let's go to the scores regarding that. So Brewers picked up a win last night, winning against the Cardinals 6-0, and that's big. Obviously, they're trying to wrap up the Central, and they're going to do that. Again, I was really looking forward to that last series against the Cubs to end the year because I was hoping the division was going to come down to that because that would be a lot of fun. But the Cubs just have been very bad as of late, and that's not going to end up happening. So, but the Brewers picked up the win. We'll go through the scoring summary. So Wade Miley picked up the win, his 9th win on the season. Blake Perkins, he started the top of the third off with a home run to make it 1-0. Sal Frelick, he singled in the top of the 5th to make it 2-0. Andrew I cannot pronounce some of these names. Andrew Monasterio, I think that's how you pronounce it. He singled to make it 3-0. Victor Carantini homered to make it 6-0. That was a 3-run home run, and that was the final score. Brewers won 6-0. Again, Wade Miley pitched well. They picked up their 87th win on the season to improve to 87 and 66. So they're going to clinch the Central at some point. I know the Cubs, excuse me, they it looks like they got really no shot at this point. Right now, if we look at the Central, they are 8 games up, and the magic number for the Brewers is 2. So yeah, the Brewers are going to have this wrapped up probably by this weekend. And the Cubs, speaking of, another loss to the Pirates, 8-6. Kyle Hendricks took the loss in that game. A lot of scoring towards the end of the game. The Pirates were up 3-0 going into the 7th inning. The Cubs, they scored a run to make it 3-1. So Miguel Andujar, former Yankee, he hit a 2-run double to get the Pirates on the board, make it 2-0. Then he picked up another run in the top of the fifth. So he had 3 of their RBIs in the beginning of the first 5 innings. So it was 3-0 Miguel Andujar over the Cubs. Then Dansby Swanson got the Cubs back on the board with a single in the bottom of the 7th to make it 3-1. Then Ji-Hwan Bae tripled. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. He tripled to make it 4-1. Connor Joe, he singled to make it 5-1. Mike Tauchman had an RBI double in the bottom of the 8th. There was a wild pitch that scored a run. Nico Horner, he grounded out, that scored a run. So that made it 5-4. So the Cubs got it down to 5-4. But then Joshua Palacios, he homered, hit a 3-run home run to make it 8-4. And then Dansby Swanson hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th. And that was the final score, 8-6. So that is a tough loss for the Cubs. Again, if they're not too careful, they might find themselves on the outside looking in. And it could very well happen. And like I briefly mentioned before, so in the first segment, so the Giants dropped below 500, losing 7-2 to the Dodgers. They're now down to 76 and 77 on the season. And like I said, I probably lean towards, I feel confident in saying, now again, anything's possible, but I think the Giants, they are going to be one of those teams that is also on the outside looking in when it's all said and done. So now we go to the playoff picture. Brewers, like I said, they're 8 games up. Magic number right now is 2 for them to clinch the division. So we go to the wild card. Phillies and Diamondbacks, they got the top 2 spots at the moment. The Diamondbacks have won 5 in a row, and they start a series against the Yankees coming up this weekend. So that's big for them. That definitely they could definitely take advantage of that and tack on some wins and kind of widen the gap between them and the third wild card spot. So right now they're at 81 and 72. Phillies are at 84 and 69. Then you got the Cubs and the Marlins tied for that third spot. They're both 79 and 74. The Reds are a half game back. Giants are 3 games back. And the San Diego Padres are 4 games back. They didn't play yesterday, and they gained a half a game up. They gained a half a game back. Gained a half a game back of these teams. So I just wanted to. So I pulled up the Padres schedule here. So here's your the graphic for today. Now, obviously, it's not the best. I tried to. The last game against the White Sox is cut off because that's on October 1st. So they swept the Rockies. Now they begin a 3-game set at home with the Cardinals. And then they play the Giants for 3 and then the White Sox for 3. And I'm telling you right now, I really think it's doable. I do. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? No. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But can it? I think so. Because these teams are struggling. I think they're going to pass the Giants. The Reds have lost 2 in a row. And, right now they're a half game back. But if the Padres can win out, which I don't think they will, they might go 7-2, 8-1, and maybe just fall just short. But I think it's doable. I really think it's doable. And I touched upon this yesterday. I could so see it happening. But again, they got to go out and do it. They got to win their games, and they got to hope other teams lose. And like I said yesterday, other teams right now are struggling. The Cubs are struggling. I mean, losing 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, not what you want. The Marlins are dealing with injuries. Luis Ariz is hurt. Jake Berger is now hurt. And you don't know when they're going to be back in the lineup. You're hoping soon, for the Marlins' sake. The Giants, they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. Like the Cubs, they've lost 3 in a row. Padres right now, 8-2 in their last 10, and they've won 7 in a row. So, again, it's all about momentum. And if the Padres, with this soft schedule, if they can, have a good weekend, and, we'll see where they are on Monday. Because if they sweep the Cardinals and these teams continue to lose, there's going to be a conversation to be had, really. That's when this really gets... I mean, right now it's fun to talk about it, but I mean, four games with 9 to go. I mean, they got a shot. They have a shot. It's just, like I said, they got to go out and they got to actually do it. And they got the team to do it, but again, anything can happen. And again, they lost a lot of close one-run games this year, and if that wasn't the case, they would be right there for that third wild card spot. But they again, it's they still got a lot of work to do, but I would love to see it happen. I think it would just be so funny, especially again just because of how I really just since starting the show, I really I never really mentioned them when talking about the National League wild card. It's just, you're just like, yeah, they're 8 games out. They're done. It's not going to happen. But slowly but surely, they have climbed themselves back into this thing. And right now they got 78 losses, so they're going to make it, with like a, if they went out, they'd finish 84 and 78. But that's an 84 and 78 team you don't want to face, because they're going to have the Cy Young They're going to have the Cy Young and Blake Snell, and you got that lineup to deal with. So, that's a team you don't want to face. But again, right now they're 4 games out. They got a lot of teams they got to jump over. I think they'll jump over the Giants. And listen, the way the Cubs have been playing, Cubs might fall out of it now. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody is no one's really separating themselves right now for that third spot. The Diamondbacks right now, it looks like they're going to finish with that second wild card. After I said, yeah, I would take probably the Marlins or the Reds. But Diamondbacks started playing well since I said that, and now they have the second wild card spot. They got the second. They don't have the third. They got the second right now. So props to them though. They've had a very good season. And again, that's a team that you haven't seen in the playoffs recently. So good for them. And we'll see how they do if they do make the playoffs and they don't collapse, towards the end. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the wild card playoff picture discussion pertaining to the National League. And again, I just want to remind you guys, again for the second time during each show, for donations, to donate to the show or tips, get your comments recognized, go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, it helps the show. And then, as always, for bonus coverage materials that are not covered during this broadcast, go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network. Really helps the show. And once again, I'll throw up the Patreon graphic so you know what I'm talking about, obviously. So that's what you go and search up, GSMC Sports Network. And yeah, so that again pretty much wraps up the third segment of the show. So we're going to take a quick break, our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we're going to look at the series for the games for this upcoming weekend. We'll preview them, look at the pitching matchups, what I like, what I dislike, and then that will wrap up the show for today. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.